Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a flight from Palomar Airport to Gillespie Airport, and we're going to do this via IFR rules to fly into Gillespie. More than likely they'll have us go down the coast to the Mission Bay VOR and then into the Gillespie, but the important thing today is we're going to attempt to fly the RNAV GPS runway 17 approach plate. So in this video, I'm going to take you through all of the procedures that we need to follow to fly instrument flight rules, such as briefing this approach from the plate, flying the plate, and then all the checklists associated with just a normal flight and or an IFR flight. So now the simulator seems like it's booted up. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we are at Palomar Airfield. You can see from the diagram here, we're parked over at the ramp just off of N2. So let's go ahead and get this plane started up. We're gonna just pop right into our checklist. I've been using this checklist a lot recently. I really like it. It has really a lot of checklists all built into one. So let's start with this before start checklist. So our C-track is in and locked. Circuit breakers are in. Brakes, fill pressure, they're good. Parking brake, let's check, is off. Check our alternate static port, looks good. Autopilot is off. Fuel selector is on both. So before start checklist complete. All right, engine start checklist, carb heat is off. Mixture is going full rich. Throttle is open slightly. Beacon light coming on. Nav lights coming on. Give it some shots of primer. All right, primer is in and locked. Brake supply, but master's coming on. Don't have to worry about the EDM. All right. Clear prop. And mags over to start. All right, back to both. Pull that back to about 800 RPM. Go ahead and lean for taxi. All right, oil temperature, oil pressure is coming alive. Throttle's at 800, mixture's lean for taxi. And we have positive amps. So battery's good there. All right, so pre-taxi checklist. Seats are secured. Flaps are up. Avionics coming on. All right, in real life, we'd go ahead and do our GTN checks right here. And we'd set any kind of fuel calculation if it asked for it. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our ATIS, or our AWOS. ATIS is here at this airfield. Looks like it's 120.15. So we'll put that down here on our comms too. Switch over here. 120.15. Flip that to primary.
Advise on initial contact. You have information with
While we're down here, we'll go ahead and put in our clearance delivery.
Carlsbad McClellan, Palomar Airport. ATIS information whiskey. 1653 Zulu. Wind variable at 3.
Right,
Visibility
like
10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 19er. Dew point 13. Altimeter 299.4. Arriving and departing runway 24. Visual approaches in use. Read backhaul runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information whiskey.
All right, whiskey. I'm gonna grab that wind one more time.
Carlsbad McClellan, Palomar Airport. ATIS information whiskey. 1653 Zulu. Wind variable at 3. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature
right.
19er.
I have whiskey.
Dew point 13. Altimeter.
All right, so we have whiskey. Wind is variable at 3. We need to set our altimeter 29.94. We can do that right here. 29.94. These agree. This matches airport elevation. You can check that by our plate. So yeah, the airport elevation should be at least 326. That is the runway. This runway is a little bit upsloping. You can tell when you fly this in real life. 330, but we're showing we have 340. So these match within 75 feet and they match the plate, so we're good there. Okay, so we went ahead and put in clearance delivery on our primary COM2, or active COM2, and we're going to have to call them up to get our clearance before we taxi. All right, after we taxi, we're going to then talk to ground. So I'm going to go ahead and get that put in. We can see on the chart that's going to be 121.8. 21.8. So we have ground on standby. We can go ahead and get our tower frequency put in. That's going to be who we need to talk to next on COM 1. So that's going to be 1186. Enter, throw that up in the active, and we'll put our SoCal approach frequency in here when we get it. All right, just so for another brief, I just want to quickly mention our plan today is to fly from Palomar Airfield down to Gillespie, and more than likely we're going to take some route that looks like this. We're not really sure. It's just going to depend whatever they give us. We filed an IFR plan to go to Cara, Mission Bay, and then Gillespie, but we'll fly whatever they give us. The main intention today is to fly the approach plate, the RNAV GPS 17. So more than likely, what we're going to do is we're going to depart from here. We're going to come down here to Cara, and as we turn towards Mission Bay, they're going to ask us what we want to do, and we're going to tell them we want to fly the GPS RNAV 17, and they're going to tell us to intersect one of the fixes that are on the approach place, which is really in this vicinity right here. So we're probably going to get vectored this way to intersect a 6E, such as here, or maybe track a little bit up north to Robin, but we'll see. More than likely we'll go direct a 6E at some point as we're heading south here, just to give you guys kind of a heads up of what's probably going to happen, but we'll see. All right, so let's go back to our checklist. We were here on the pre-taxi checklist. Our altimeter is set. We verified that the elevation's within 75 feet. Our squawk code, we're gonna get a squawk code, but I guess we can go ahead and squawk VFR for now. Our taxi lights are coming on. Taxi lights on. And our parking brake is off. So our taxi checks are complete. Before we run our taxi checklist, let's go ahead and pick up our clearance. So we're going to call it clearance delivery. We can confirm we have clearance delivery down here, active on COM 2. We're up with COM 2, so let's give them a call. So just as a reminder, so we're first going to call them up. We're going to say Palomar clearance delivery. We're going to tell them who we are, which is Cessna 9488 Golf. We're then going to tell them that we're ready to copy our clearance to Gillespie. Palomar clearance delivery, Cessna 9488 Golf, ready to copy clearance to Gillespie. I'm going to pre-fill this because we know we're going to Gillespie.
948 Bravo Golf, Palomar clearance. Look for IFR to Gillespie, correct?
Correct, IFR to Gillespie, 9488 Golf.
9488 Golf, clear to Gillespie Airport, flight heading 245. Radar vectors, Mission Bay direct, maintain 3000, expect 4000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.6, squawk 21, squawk 2165.
So clear to Gillespie, fly initial heading 245, radar vectors to Mission Bay, 3000, expect 4000, 10 minutes after departure, frequency 119.6, squawk 2165 for 88 Golf.
8 Golf, advisors.
We have information whiskey.
3639 Lima, how do you read?
3639 Lima, 1,400 feet.
3639 Lima, contact departure 120.55.
What a departure 120.55. This is fine.
Okay, well, he didn't say read
Circle
back
departure
correct, but he also didn't say
Lima,
read back incorrect. So I'm going to take that as
3639 Lima, Santa Barbara departure, cancel altitude restriction, resume on navigation.
resume on navigation, cancel altitude restriction, 3639 Lima.
So we can go ahead and get some things set up here. So they told us that we're going to fly heading 245. So we can go ahead and get our heading bugged. All right, we have 245 bugged here for our heading. They also gave us an altitude, so we can go ahead and put that in. So we have our altitude bugged at 3000. We can go ahead and flip over to ground, and we can put in our frequency 1196 or SoCal departure. That'll be on standby. First we'll talk to tower. We're still in comms 2, so now we're up with ground. The next frequency we're gonna really need to put in our comms 2 is gonna be the ATIS for Gillespie, so I guess we can go ahead and grab that. If we look at the chart over here, we can see it's 12545. 12545. Let's pop over to our checklist. I believe we're ready to taxi. So now that we have some of that set up, we can go ahead and taxi. We'll build the box during the run-up. Let's go ahead and hit up ground for taxi instructions. Palomar ground, Cessna 9488 Golf, ready to taxi for westbound departure.
9488 Golf, runway 24, taxi via Alpha.
Runway 24, taxi via Alpha, 88 Golf. Alright, so 24, taxi via Alpha. Alpha's on the other side, we need to let them know. Palomar ground, Cessna 9488 Golf. Sorry, we're on the north side, no, the north ramp of Palomar over at November.
9488 Golf, runway 24, taxi via November.
24, taxi via November, 88 Golf. So we're going to taxi via November instead. So we're just going to taxi via November to 24. Very simple taxi instructions. Alright, do a little bit of a brake check. Our brakes work. Let's verify some of our taxi instructions. Okay, we're going to taxi around 800 RPM. Keep our taxi speed between 8 and 12 knots. On the roll, we'll do our brake check. We just verified that. Taxi instructions we verified. We know where we're going. Our altitude we've already checked. And we'll check our turn coordinator and altimeter and BSI on the roll as we turn to do the run-up. We're on November. You can see that on the runway marker. Black is where you're at. Sign said November. We're going to cross over this ILS critical area. Alright, we're going to come over here and do a run-up. As we do the run-up, we're going to check some of our instruments. We can see our airspeed is 0, which is good. As we turn, our wings turn to the direction of the turn. The ball goes the opposite direction. HSI is swinging. Our VSI is 0. Our altitude is set. We have blue over brown. So taxi instrument checks complete. Alright, let's do our run-up. So we'll pop over to the run-up checklist. So run-up checklist, we'll pop over to tower. We have them in our active, but we'll switch to comm 1. So now we're up with tower. Brakes are set. Fuel looks good, plenty of fuel. Trim is set for takeoff. Flight controls. Flight controls are free and correct. Autopilot, disconnect works. Alright, instrument check. T's and P's are in the green. Our altimeter set. Heading's bugged. Altitude's bugged. We'll get the box built in a minute, so instruments are set. Our primer is in and locked. Make sure we're going to best power. Now we're going up to 1700 RPM. Alright, if we had carb heat in this plane, we do carb heat check. We're going to go over to our left mag. Good drop. Back to both. Right mag. Same drop within 75 of each other. Back to both. Our amps are positive. Alright, now we're going to go power idle. Make sure the engine doesn't die. Feels good. Put it back in. And full
Traffic
disclosure.
clearance, Walker 2489. Information Delta, clearance to San Jose, please.
In full disclosure, we're going to fly this like a standard 172 today. We're not going to worry about the prop lever. Alright, so we reduced power, and we're going to relane for taxi. Okay, so let's do our takeoff brief. So we're going to be departing runway 24. We can see that off our nose in the paint, runway 24, and in the box over there. Let's verify available distances. So we have 4,897 feet. We should only need about 600 feet to get off the ground. That's going to probably be by the end of the 1,000 footers, because we have a little bit of a displaced threshold here. We're not flying by down here where it says Alpha 4 or some of these buildings. We'll abort the takeoff because that clearly means we have some kind of engine performance problem. Alright, so we're going to rotate at 55 and we're going to climb at VX, which is going to be 63 in this plane, until we're 1,000 feet AGL. At that point we'll pitch for 73 VY. If we have any kind of engine abnormalities on the roll, we'll reduce power, maintain directional control, come to a stop, and exit the runway. If we have any engine abnormalities after we're already off the ground, we'll attempt to put it back on the runway if there's any usable runway. If there's not, we'll pitch 20 to 30 degrees to the left or right and try to put it in a field if we're under 1,000 feet AGL. And if we're over 1,000 feet AGL, we'll attempt to turn it back around and put it in the airport environment to land back on the runway. So we're going to do normal takeoff, no flaps takeoff. We have our IFR clearance. The last thing we need to do is go ahead and build the box. Let's do that real quick. We're going to over here, we can click right here. Let's take us to our flight plan. Our origin's going to be KCRQ. They said we need to fly runway heading 245, but the next waypoint that we'll see is the Mission Bay VOR. So MZB, we can just have that queued up. So we're probably going to fly direct. I'm sure this is going to change while we're flying, but we do want to add our destination. It's going to be Gillespie. Okay, so something clearly didn't work here. It looks like it deleted our Mission Bay waypoint. So let's go back and insert after MZB. There we go. Not sure why that happened, but that's why it's important when you're done building this box, you click menu, preview, and you can see the whole app. So as I mentioned, we're going to depart this way towards the ocean. We're eventually going to fly direct to Mission Bay. At that point, they're going to ask us what we want to do, and we're going to tell them we want the RNAV GPS 17 into Gillespie. So they're probably going to vector us around up here for our initial approach fix, and then we can land at Gillespie. So our box looks built, and let's go ahead and get our squawk code in. 2165. We probably should have done this before taxi. I must have missed it somewhere on the checklist. We have our departure frequency on standby. We're up comms 1 and 2. All right, so ready for takeoff. All right, and since we're really focusing on IFR procedures and stuff, and I want to be able to see this clearly, I'm going to go ahead and make some of these instruments really large. All right, so just pulling up this approach plate that we're going to ultimately use. We'll brief it while we're in flight. Pop back over to my checklist. Make sure our takeoff brief is complete. All right, we mentioned our runway, verified distance. We mentioned where we're going to rotate, where we're going to climb to, our abort plans, emergency procedures. We have our IFR clearance. We have our transponder set, our radio frequency set, and our box is built. That's all this area down here that we're focusing on for that last part. Okay, so takeoff brief complete. Pre-takeoff, we go ahead and just review. Our flaps are up. We're going to do a normal takeoff. Our mixture is going to be set to best power. We're leaned right now, so when we are cleared to depart, I'll richen that up and I'll turn the strobes on. Verify our squawk code. Our squawk code is set. Our heading bug is set for 245. Doors and windows are shut. Pitot heat is off. Landing lights are on. Flip that on right now. And strobes I'll turn on once we cross the threshold runway. That'll be with our lights, camera, action. So takeoff checks review, and our pre-takeoff checklist is complete. Takeoff checks, mixture best power, fuel selector on both flights on, verify. All right, we're gonna call out our green arc, our airspeed, our rotation speeds.
2049, coming up, 26 left.
And I think we're good to go. So we're set for our climb checklist.
Walk 2049, bracket tower, runway 6 left, clear for takeoff.
26 left, clear for takeoff. 2049.
So let's just verify we're up with power. give them a call. Palomar Tower, Cessna 9488 Golf, ready for westbound departure, IFR.
9488 Golf, Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear for takeoff.
24 cleared for takeoff, 88 Golf. Alright, clear for takeoff. Let's go. So lights, camera, action. Lights, we can go ahead and
Approaching
flip on
runway 24.
our strobes. Strobes run. Mixture
Entered runway
forward.
24, 4,800 feet
We have
remaining.
clock codes going. And action. Mixture is full rich. We'll go ahead and start a timer for this flight. Let me go ahead and just do that on my iPad. Full power. Airspeed's alive. Engine gauges are in the green. Rotate at 55. And we're gonna climb runway heading 245. So looks like we have 245 here.
Eight Golf, contact departure.
Over to departure, 88 Golf. We'll flip over to departure. Got departure on active. SoCal departure, Cessna 9488 Golf, just departed Palomar 800, climbing 3000.
9488 Golf, SoCal departure, radar contact, climb maintain 4000.
Climb and maintain 4000, 88 Golf. Alright, up to 4000, we're gonna bug that.
Walk 2049, contact departure.
Contact departure, walk to first time.
Climb at 70.
SoCal departure, walk 2489, 3,400, climbing 4,000.
Walk 2489, SoCal
Alright, get back
departure,
on the
radar
heading.
contact, climb maintain 6000.
Let's run our climb checklist. So pitch
Climb maintain
70
6,000.
to 85, that's set. Throttle as required. Power back a little bit. Pull the prop back a little bit. Alright, mixture as required. We'll keep it rich here until we cross 3,000 feet. Instruments all look good. In the green.
Walk 2049, turn left, heading 280.
And landing lights off, taxi lights off.
Left 280.
Climb checklist complete. And we'll get set up for our cruise checklist. We're still flying this heading. Eventually, he's gonna vector us towards Mission Bay. We'll prepare for that by clicking direct, flight plan, Mission Bay. If it tells us that, we'll hit activate.
88 Golf, flight heading 110, say request.
Heading 110, and we would like to do the RNAV GPS approach into Gillespie, RNAV GPS 17.
Right. Walk 2049, climb maintain 14,000.
Climb maintain 14,000, walk to first time.
88 Golf, clear direct A60, cross A60 at 4,000, cleared RNAV, runway 17 approach.
Direct to 60, cross to 60 at 5,000, cleared for the RNAV GPS 17 approach into Gillespie.
Negative, cross A60 at 4,000.
Cross to 60 at 4,000, 88 Golf. Okay, so I need to go ahead and get that in.
Walk 2489, 18, proceed direct Gorman.
So a 60
Gorman,
is what he's
100%.
saying. So let's go ahead and just build that right in. We're gonna clear this out. We're gonna go and turn. We know that's gonna be a northeast heading from where we're at.
Walk 2489, contact Los Angeles Center, 125.27.
So let's go to
125.27, first time.
We're gonna hit direct. ASIXY, a 60. Activate. Alright, our heading was close. We'll straighten that up here. Alright, now we're going direct to 60. We're still bugged for
Walk
4,000.
2049, Los Angeles Center, climb maintain level 230.
We should be good. Let's go ahead and build the rest of our box now. So we're just gonna remove this. And then we're gonna go to KSEE. and then insert after ASIXY. We're directed 60 right now. This seems to be off a little bit, so let's just reassure that needle. Okay, now we're good. Back to the flight plan. When we get to 60, that's a part of our approach leg, obviously, for this plate. So let's go ahead and load the plate. We're going to go to load procedures. This is an approach, RNAV 17. We can load it with that. Let's load approach. But we're going to go ahead and go. So you can see we load the approach. We had the transition point Robin. We don't need that. We need direct to 60. So we can go ahead and go down to this to 60 here. Direct. That should fix itself. Okay, here we go. We're all good here. If I zoom out. Alright, this shows our approach. We have some of this extra spinach here. I'd like to get rid of it, but I'm not sure the game will let me do that. You definitely can in real life. Go ahead and activate approach. I think that's part of the problem. Okay, so flight plan. Nope, flight plan. This is 60 direct. Alright, so went ahead and activated the approach. The approach is activated. We're going direct to 60. Can't get rid of this, at least in the game. Pretty sure you can in real life. It's just kind of a bug, so ignore that. But I'm going to go ahead and brief the plate here, because we're about to fly. So I have the important things highlighted here that I want to make sure we point out. So this is, as we can see up here, the GPS RNAV 17 approach into Gillespie Field. It is current. We are WASP enabled approach. We need to double check that. We would do that by going to system, and then we check the GPS status. Can't do it in the game. In real life, you click this and it would say WASP is either enabled or not. In this case, WASP is enabled, so we can fly this approach down to LPV minimums.
Destination ATIS is 125.45.
Go ahead and get the ATIS.
You have information, Sierra. Gillespie Airport. 8 is information, Sierra. 1747 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition, clear. Temperature 20. Dew point 13. Altimeter 299er6. Arriving and departing runways 27 left, 27 right. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Sierra.
Alright, I popped over frequencies in the game. Don't do that in real life. You can't monitor two frequencies.
2849, contact Los Angeles Center 133.2.
Talk to me during that time. We got the informations here. We have the altimeter set, so we're all good there. Gonna throw up ground here.
3320.
We ready to talk to them next. Okay, back to this plate. We need a brief. Okay, back to this plate. We need a brief. So our final approach course is going to be 147. We're going to actually ask to do the circling minimums to circle for runway 27.
2849, Los Angeles Center, climate tank level 42.
Kind of wanted to practice. It's daytime, so we can see that we can do that. We're going to circle to the south of the field. We're going to cross over runway 28 right this way, and we're going to circle to land. Sorry, let me re-say that. So we're going to do circle to land, circling not authorized northeast of runways 17 and 27 right. We're going to fly over the runway here and then land 27 right. At least that's what we're going to request. Okay, so we have the ATIS. We're up with SoCal. Gillespie Towers 120.7. You throw that in our standby. We got Gillespie there. All right, we're coming inbound to a 60. We're going to cross a 60 at or above 4,000. That's it says 5,000 here, but that's he gave us clearance down to 4,000. It's okay. So we're going to do that. Once we intersect 60, we're going to turn inbound to Hoogle, which is going to be our final approach fix. We can fly down to 2,500 there. We're going to be fully configured and ready to land by then. We're going to verify our box is in approach mode. Right now you can see we're in route mode. From Google, we're going to then fly down to around 1,600 feet at Tommy. It's going to start the turn. We're going to bug it to 60, so we can go down to 2,500. So get that set up. 2,500. We'll send about 800 feet per minute. Pull back on the power. We don't really need to be going this fast. Props full forward. Mixtures full forward. Car repeat sign. You can see we're left of course. Intercept that a little bit better. Okay, back to the approach chart. So we're going to fly down to high rack.
Southwest 790 Los Angeles Center,
We're going to use a circling approaches of 1440. So that's going to be our minimum descent point. At that point, if we need to go missed, we're going to fly straight out runway 17 to 1,500 feet. We're going to make a climbing right turn 3,000, go direct to COD, where we'll hold as published if necessary. Okay, so the approach plate is complete. Alright, so when they transfer us to the tower, I'm going to ask tower for the circling approach. Alright, we can see as we get back on course, we're approaching, our GPS turned it back into approach mode, so that's ideal. And we're going still a little fast, we don't really need to be going 100, so let's slow down a little bit. Just pull the power back. Alright, so you can see we have 4 minutes.
Class Bravo in 3.7 miles.
You can see we have 4 minutes until our next waypoint of Hugel. It's going to be 6.6 nautical miles. We can descend down to 2,500. We're 2,560 right now, so that's good. So we're just going to hold this altitude, give it a little bit of power. Don't want to get too slow. 80 to 90 is fine for here. We're going to be fully configured by the time we get to our final approach fix, which is Hugel, so that means we'll be flat 10 with our lights on. So we can go ahead and run our GUMPS checklist. So pre-landing checklist, gas mixture undercarriage, prop. So mixtures on both, or fuel selectors on both, mixtures full in. Undercarriage is down welded. We got both our lights coming on, landing lights, taxi lights. So our pre-landing checklist is complete. So IFR approach, we got our ABCs, we got our weather. What was it? We have information Sierra. The altimeter is set for that. The box is built. It's activated, confirming we're in approach mode. And this is a non-precision approach, so we got GUMPS and flaps 10, 800 foot per minute, and good power settings. So good there. We'll get ready for our landing checklist. For now, we'll get the approach plate back up. Okay, so we got 2 minutes, 43 seconds till we get to Hugel, 4.3 nautical miles. Our altitude's still good. We're on course. A little slight deviation to the left. We'll correct over to the right. You can say that by this line, but more precisely, you can also see that from this diamond right here. Good airspeed. And so that's our instrument scan. Our next waypoint is going to be that Tommy. It's going to be 3.2 nautical miles away from Hyrac, which is going to be our missed approach point. It's actually going to be a half mile before the runway. Alright, we're on our instruments. We're looking at our airspeed's good, our altitude's good, our course is good. Keep bouncing between those. Don't want to stop doing a good instrument scan. Looking back at the chart, the next altitude we're going to go down to is 1600. We can go ahead and get that bugged. All right, 1600's bugged. We're going to expect them to switch us over to tower soon. Just trying to stay in front of the airplane. Airspeed, course, altitude, coordination. Everything's looking good. Now here comes our final approach fix. 1 minute, 2 miles.
Area Golf, contact Gillespie Tower 120.7.
Class Delta below in 4.8 miles.
120.7, 88 Golf. Gillespie Tower, Cessna 948A Golf, inbound on the RNAV GPS 17. And if possible, can we do this circling approach to runway 27 right?
For to Golf, Gillespie Tower, circle south for left downwind, runway 27 right, runway 27 right, clear to land.
We'll circle south for 27 right, clear to land, runway 27. Alright, so we got cleared to do this circling approach. That means our minimums are going to be 1400. We've crossed Hoogle, so we can go down to 1600. We need to be at or above 1580, which is why I'm saying 1600 at Tommy. So we have 1 minute to go, 1.6 nautical miles, and about 700 feet to drop. So we'll speed this up a little bit, about 1,000 feet per minute. Basically go power idle. So we're cleared to circle to land for 27 right. So we're gonna, as mentioned, overfly the runway, enter the downwind, and land 27 right. All right, 1780, good airspeed. We're coordinated on course. We'll come right just a little bit. Getting a little slow, get some airspeed. Alright, last gums check. Gas mixture, prop, undercarriage, switches, seatbelts, everything looks good. Alright, we're coming in. So now we can go down, we've passed Tommy, so we can go down to our minimums of 1500. Level off right about here. I believe that's the runway just off our
Bakersfield
nose.
Tower, Texan 1 Foxtrot is holding short, 30 right, ready for departure.
So we can go down to 1440 now.
1 Foxtrot off of Bakersfield Tower, runway 30 right, clear for takeoff.
And
30 right, clear for takeoff, Texan 1 Foxtrot.
okay, there's the runway environment. So we have the runway in flight, so now we can go down 100 feet below our MDA. So let's say we're good, we're visual now. We can close this. I'll leave this up, we'll need this in a second. So going visual, we still want to maintain our TPA, which is going to be 1400 here. So we'll make 1400.
Research 9021, Romeo,
As we can see,
ready
this
to
is
copy
runway
IFR
17
Flight.
right here.
Alpha Sierra with the
And this is
information,
runway
Juliet.
27 right here. We're going to be landing right here. Here's 27 left, 27 right, and then 17 straight ahead of us. So we're going to fly over and enter a downwind for 27 right, and a base, and then final, and land right there. So that's our plan.
921 Romeo, Echo, stand by.
Let's get it. Good airspeed, 70 knots, 1,400 feet, flying directly over runway 27 right. You can see that down there, right there, 27 right, and 27 left. We already have flaps 10. We're already slowed down pretty substantially. Yep, so 27 right. So we're going to enter their downwind at a 45. No more than 30-degree bank since we're in the traffic pattern. Boy, this thing is freaking out. Let's just close it. So this little blue building here is a good site for basically the corner of your downwind to base leg. So I'm gonna fly just to the south of it. And then we don't want to run into the mountains. So between the mountains and this building is kind of your base. So we're on downwind now. We can see, we confirm our runway is back there, 45-degree angle behind us. So we'll go ahead, let's go flaps 20. Take some power out, get that nose down, trim nose down. Airport elevation was 370 feet, so we're looking for that. We got our heading, should have bugged my heading a while ago. Runway 27, here's our base. Flaps 30. Oh, still very high. We'll go power idle. Yeah, definitely all the way power, all the way back. We got 4 whites, so we know we're really high. This is 27 left. This is our landing runway 27 right. So we're gonna just aim towards the numbers.
Short final runway 27 right.
Short final runway 27 right. Flaps are all the way down. Oh no, flaps aren't all the way down. No wonder. Trim. Power's idle. Still fast. Cross the numbers. 55. Lined up on center line. Hold it off. Stall horn. And butter.
Approaching runway 17.
Alright, we're going to take it down. See via Alpha. Oops. Too much brake. Alright. Gillespie Tower, Cessna 9488 Golf is clear of runway 27 right, holding short runway 27 left at Alpha.
Ready, Golf, cross runway 27 right at, correction, cross runway 27 left at Alpha. Taxi to parking Alpha.
Cross runway 27 left at Alpha and taxi via Alpha to parking. 88 Golf. Alright, so let's run
21
some...
Romeo Echo, stand by clearance, clear to Las Vegas Airport on departure fly.
Alright, so after landing checklist,
Sorry, I
still
gotta
up
get
a
that
tower,
one.
because we still have to cross this runway, and he didn't tell us to
Let's
switch the
go ahead
ground,
and give me the
but
vectors again,
combined
please.
here. Flaps are coming up. Our
One Romeo
beats
Echo,
off.
it's radar vector's Henner.
Strobes will turn off after we cross
Vector
runway
186.
Set for takeoff. All right, after landing
Fillmore.
checks complete. Let's go ahead and taxi.
Victor
Clear us.
386.
Approaching runway 0
Palmdale.
27
Runway
left.
27
Victor
left. We're
12.
crossing right
Entered
now.
runway
Hector.
09 right.
And then
Crest
we're
05 arrival.
Alpha to parking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
So we
we're
are radar
cross.
vectors to Henner, Vector
Lane for
186 to
taxi,
Fillmore,
strobes off,
Vector
landing lights off,
385 to
taxi
Palmdale,
lights on.
Vector 12 to
And
Hector,
we're just gonna
Crest
taxi via
05
Alpha here
arrival.
and park right next to the tower.
120.55, 7171. That was 3,000, 11,000, 10 minutes later.
And one Romeo Echo, advise ATIS.
Copy, we have Juliet.
1747 Zulu, wind calm.
And let's run our after landing checklist, or our securing checklist. Sorry, ELT 1215. All right, if we had ELT on, we'd hear it. We don't, so we're good there. So avionics coming off. See you. Mixture. Lights. Mags. Master. All right, we did it. We just flew from Palomar to Gillespie, doing the RNAV 17 approach into Gillespie. Hope that video is useful, informative, and helpful. If you see any errors or anything, I'm sure there's plenty in there. Hit me up in the comments and let me know what I need to fix. Thanks for watching. Until next time, fly safe out there.